Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of To Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I'm going to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of the coffin. You tried lifting the lid. The enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening the coffin. You tried banging on the lid to unsettle the dirt that's upon the lid. Maybe, just maybe, you might unsettle the dirt and people might notice and start digging their way down towards you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own. You don't know where to turn for help. In reality, there are people standing nearby. You just don't know that. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to defeat an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something away that was given to you by the Lord Jesus Christ, called life? When you take your life like that, it's selfish. But more selfishly is when you take it away from the people that love and count on you most. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person I'm reading about on these index cards that waited and waited until it was too late. Instead, pick up the phone and call me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise I will help you take your life back before your life is gone. People like Larry Geis are addiction recovery coaches with over 30 years experience. He's a life coach. He will take you from your depression to happy at times, low self-esteem to raise your self-esteem, from your addiction to recovery. Him and I always tell folks like you, it doesn't matter where you've been, it doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is that you're here today. Call Larry at 516-458-2741 or go to www.odysseyconsultant.org and he will help you take your life back. Folks, I tell you this in each and every video, and I want to just remind everyone, when you go to bed at night, when you take your slippers off, instead of leaving them by the edge of your bed, stick them completely under your bed. In the morning, when you go to retrieve them, go look under your bed, you'll see them. While you're on your knees, thank the Lord for another beautiful day like the earth that's behind me, that beautiful stream and waterfall. Because for someone, they're not waking up. Thank the Lord for the home, the clothing, the food, the family you have. Ask the Lord for mercy and forgiveness. Ask the Lord for guidance and direction. I call this knee mail. While you're on your knees retrieving your slippers, give a personal shout out to God. And it can be said from your heart, and you could say anything. There is no right or wrong way to speak to God. But if you utilize it each and every time you go looking for your slippers in the morning, that way you have a time and a place each and every day that you have your personal chat with God. Once you're done with talking to God, put your slippers on, roll your shoulders back, stick your chest out, and walk with God 24/7. I want to talk about give you three reasons why alcohol is considered one of the most dangerous drugs out there. And it really is. Make no mistake, alcohol is deadly, very deadly. We have always made a point to make everyone aware that we do not have a problem with alcohol. As alcoholics, we always try to do that. Alcohol has existed for at least 10,000 years. We are by no means taking a position that alcohol should be abolished, or that you drink alcohol, you are doing something wrong, because there is such thing as good sociable drinking, even Christians. Everyone has a right to make their own choices, but it's people like me that can't control the alcohol that makes the problem, or is the problem. We just want to make people aware of the truth that alcohol is the most dangerous drug in the world. One, alcohol kills more than all drugs combined together. While the war on drugs portrays the message that drugs like heroin and cocaine are dangerous, it fails to mention that alcohol contributes to 100,000 deaths per year, while all other drugs combined only contribute to 20,000 deaths per year. Alcohol is especially cruel because it kills people slowly. Most alcohol-related deaths are due to liver problems that happen after years of alcohol use. In most cases, alcohol leads to 3 types of liver problems. Fatty liver disease is built up extra fat in the liver cells. Almost all heavy drinkers have fatty liver cells disease. However, if you quit drinking, the liver can heal itself and the fatty liver disease will go away. Number 2, alcohol hepatitis causes the liver to swell and become damaged. Alcohol hepatitis can be mild to severe. Up to 35% of heavy drinkers develop alcohol hepatitis. If it is severe, it may happen suddenly and lead to serious complications, including liver failure and then death. Alcohol cirrhosis is scarring of liver, which leads to poor liver function. It is the last stage of chronic liver disease. When we look into short-term dangers of drug, heroin and crack cocaine are most acutely dangerous. However, when we combine social, financial, and long-term effects of alcohol compared to heroin and crack, alcohol is by far more negatively impacting. A study done by Lancet shows peer-reviewed data on these particular findings. The MCDA modeling showed that heroin, crack, cocaine, and meth were the most harmful drugs to individuals, PART scores 34, 37, and 32 respectively, whereas alcohol, heroin, crack, and cocaine were the most harmful to others at 46, 21, 17 respectively. Overall, alcohol was the most harmful drug. Overall harm score was 72, with heroin at 55, cocaine at 54, and they came in second and third. Drunk people do crazy things in life. To say that drunk people do crazy things is a very broad statement and not backed by fact. Fact-based reporting is important, but for a second I should, like everyone else, look at their own experiences, and so should you. How many times have you seen drunk groups of people, usually men, get into brawls? How many times have you heard of families being killed by drunk drivers? How many girls have been raped or beaten when their attackers had been drunk? When considering all these scenarios, alcohol does more damage than any other drug. Here are some facts. The damage caused by drunk driving, CDC.gov, which is Controlled Substance Disease Control, reports that in 2012, 10,322 people were killed in alcohol-impaired driving crashes, accounting for nearly one-third of all traffic-related deaths in the United States. Of the 1,168 traffic deaths among children ages 0 to 14 years old in 2012, 239, 20% involved alcohol-impaired driver. Of the 239 children passengers ages 14 and younger who died in the alcohol-impaired driving crashes in 2012, over half, which were 124, were riding in the vehicle with alcohol-impaired driver. Back in 2010, over 1.4 million drivers were arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol and narcotics. That's 1% of the 112 million self-reported episodes of alcohol-impaired driving among U.S. adults each year. Drugs, other than alcohol, like marijuana and cocaine, are involved in 18% of motor vehicle drivers' deaths. These other drugs are often used in combination with alcohol. The relationship between alcohol and sex assault is unbelievable. Conservative estimates of sexual assault prevalence suggest that 25% of all American women have experienced sexual assault, including rape. Approximately half of those cases involve alcohol consumption by the perpetrator, victim, or both. Alcohol contributes to sexual assault through multiple pathways, often exaggerating existing risk factors. Beliefs about alcohol's effects on sexual and aggressive behavior, stereotypes about drinking women, and alcohol's effects on cognitive and motor skills contribute to alcohol-involved sexual assaults. One half of sexual assaults involve alcohol. Those are very alarming statistics, yet alcohol is celebrated within our culture. There is infinitely more money spent on TV advertising than money spent on sexual assault awareness and education courses. The relationship between alcohol and violence is tremendously high. It is so easy for people to label addicts. We see young kids on the street and we call them junkies or losers. The criminalization of addiction presents its own unique set of problems because many drug addicts are put in prison for victimless crimes. Many times, drug addicts are locked away for nonviolent acts. Alcohol, however, creates a hotbed for violence. Alcohol contributes to 2/3 in spousal abuse cases. That's a fancy way to say lots of men get drunk and beat up their wives, the wives of their own children. Published studies suggest that as many as 86% of homicide offenders, 37% of assault offenders, and 60% of sexual offenders, up to 50% of all men and 20% of women involved in marital violence, and 13% of child abusers were drinking at the time of their offense. That's unbelievable. Alcohol availability is closely related to violent assaults. Communities and neighborhoods that have more bars and liquor stores per capita experience more assaults. Alcohol use is celebrated in a lot of countries, including here. For the sake of misinterpretation, let it be said that once more that here at the Take Your Life Back Today show, it is not about anti-drinking. It's about abuse of drinking. We are by no means claiming that people who drink are bad people. We are simply pointing out that the contradiction of criminalization people who are addicted to drugs like heroin and marijuana, while simultaneously celebrating alcohol use. That doesn't make any sense. How can we advertise alcohol on TV the way we do? Anheuser-Busch spends $1.2 billion a year in TV advertising alone. Pressure to drink while socializing is very real and is felt by everyone. Alcohol is by far the most abused drug in America. The problems we have listed are just the tip of the iceberg as to the dangers of alcohol. Alcohol advertising, it is not hard to portray alcohol as a prerequisite for fun. I mean, beer companies spend a great deal of time and effort painting a picture that alcohol is necessary to have a good time. Although difficult to quantify, know that this mindset keeps thousands of people from admitting they have a problem getting help. We know this because we talk to these people and their families each and every day. They write into us. So my question is, what is the point? This is a difficult topic for us. It is not the responsibility of beer companies to fix these problems. They make the product and abide to business law and have the right to market and profit just like anyone else advertising. The point is not to degrade alcohol companies or alcohol drinkers. The point is to try and build some awareness. Alcohol isn't like like it is in the commercials, and it's not. Most, if not all, drinkers can easily recall experiences of vomiting, violence, blackouts, rape, and homicide. If we can somehow help these people understand the truth behind alcohol, then maybe people would respect it more. Maybe people would know that 2 beers is better than 20, and that enjoying life is not dependent upon a bottle of vodka. I know this from personal experience, folks. If I was able to just have 1 or 2 shots of vodka a day, that would have been perfect for me. But no, I had to have 15. That is my point. I'm not anti-drinking because Christians, even in the Bible, had wine. I am anti-drug abuse, alcohol abuse. It is up to the individual to make the decision. It's time to quit. It was up to me, and it's up to you. Remember, take those slippers off at night, put them on in the morning, and praise God for another beautiful day. Look behind me. If you live your life right, you'll stay healthy enough to wake up to beautiful sceneries like that. But if you abuse drugs and alcohol, you'll end up like this person, without getting any help, going to their death. Call me, 844-405-HELP, and I promise you I will help you take your life back.